Right, off planes and in hotels now with Wi-Fi. Quick technical update on Bitcoin and why this period has been a bit of a sketchy period for Bitcoin. First of all, we had a failed upside HVF, an ascending one. People in my program will know what I mean. Made a second interim and then spilled, ran through the funnel. It was a fail. Very interesting indeed that it was like that. We often get this when we get head and shoulder structure. We get failed upside patterns on the left shoulder, and then we get downside patterns on the right shoulder. In other words, HVF method dovetails quite nicely with in traditional technical analysis as well. And you'll see that this funnel that was set up there also ran all the way through the structure and gave us our funnel level here for the downside. Anyway, our midpoint over here, this was a big sell-off that was after making interim 2 here, but then fizzling, too much buying through the pattern. That often happens ascending HVF setups on the left shoulder. Down, big break. Now the key for me is 4,000 here. You'll note how you have head and shoulder structure here. Note also it didn't make its target. So you've got to be real careful about reversals here, especially on very buoyant, powerful, generally net long markets like Bitcoin. As a result, we are not reversal traders. We are continuation traders. That doesn't mean, however, we ignore good reversal structure and don't play defense, but I would stop short about going aggressively short. You pull it off, you're a hero and you're super smart. I would say long run you're going to be carried out. So that's my take. 4,000 is a potential neckline run. You can see it bouncing off there many times. So it's key level. That left shoulder low bounces through it. The right shoulder low bounces through it. So we always apply HVF law of key levels of significance in round numbers. You'll have to do a program to find out why and what that all means. Anyway, downside charting for that is 3,460 odd. And the head and shoulders charting for downside is probably a run into 2.9s, which is right by the 3,000 level. This is rallying at the moment, but it makes sense because it's at a second interim that it does that. False hope, I think. I think there could be further smackdowns. So we've had Dimen and all the other Chinese things supposedly putting the anchors on. I don't tend to over-follow the narrative. I think the charts, when things really wants to go up, they go up anyway in spite of the news. I think this has done a lot now, Bitcoin. You've got to remember we came into the year, I can't even recall actually what the starting number was for the year, but I mean it was a lot lower than we are now. I think it was in and around 1,000. We'll check the chart now, because I can't say something like that and not actually answer what I'm saying. We came down. The mouse doesn't want to play. Let's just get that beginning of the year view, because I do think we were probably. I remember we crossed gold, and that was early part of the year. So where were we in June? We're going to need more than a 2 hour. Let's go back to the daily. Started the year roughly, if you take the January high at 1,200, although it did drop all the way down to 755. So people can't complain at 3,900 that they've had a dull year. So could this have a reversal that could go a long, long way? Yes, it could. Yes, it could indeed. It's also worth sometimes putting your log scale on here so that you can see things in terms of percentages. You want to get out of daily though for that. That's really distorted. Yep, so we came in either 1,200 or 700s into the year, so that's to answer my own question. So be careful out there. I think it's a dangerous time. Obviously, you're aware of that with the sell, but don't buy into the rallies. You could return move right up to the 4,100s and even into what is a downside funnel and still sell off again as part of this. Whenever you trigger a neckline on a head and shoulders, you usually get a return move rally. So I would say the bear is still potentially very much alive and could take you all the way through the 3,000 level. And bear in mind, targets on head and shoulders, cyclical Dow theory head and shoulders are potential for long run changes. They don't just have to make targets. They're also not guaranteed to make targets. As I've already illustrated here, this was a qualifying head and shoulders with a much lower right shoulder that did break and let go of the 4,000 once before, but it didn't quite make its target, or it got very close but not quite. So they don't have to make target. They can make target and also symbolize an entire cyclical run that goes beyond those targets. So either way, there's a bit of open-ended risk. First setup of an HVF in a new trend can also deliver overperformance. So we had one of these in oil, which had a target of 77 when it broke at 103, and it just kept on going, traded 25, and that, you know, that'll test your belief system. I'm not making that as a prediction for Bitcoin. I'm just saying to you, be careful out there. This is a risk period. Okay, that's Francis. Thanks for checking in. And look forward to catching up with you soon. And play safe and position potentially defensively on any rallies until we shake our head of all of this.